Hey guys, in this video I will show you some useful lineups when you are playing Gekko on Lotus, and we'll start if you are planted the spike right here or even right here. So this lineup covers both of these spots and it's super easy to do. All you have to do is go back right here in this corner, stand right here. Then all you need to do is find this little tip of this corner right there and place there your hardline. Just like this little tip of it. I will zoom on it now so that way you can see it. You want to place it there. It doesn't have to be that precise, but the better you do it, the better it lands. And then you simply throw it. And as you can see, it would land on this box, covering both of these sides on the spike, denying anyone to defuse. Overall, if you are pushing on A, I would just recommend you to throw one of your moshpits maybe in the middle of the side, so that way you make sure that there's no one standing there, or you can just simply throw it into the back side. But usually using this lineup should work perfectly fine for you. Moving on to B, when you are going in, you can just very simply use your molly right in this corner, since it is pretty common for enemies to be in here. Or you can use very simply go into this room and use this as a post plant, stand in the middle of this line and place your crosshair right in the middle of this gap. Place it there and throw it, and as you can see it's gonna land perfectly if you plant a spike anywhere right here. You can always make it go deeper if you aim a bit lower, for example like this. And as you can see, it will land a bit further and cover the spike even better. When going on C, I would always recommend you just simply throw in your mosh pit right here in the back, since it is very common for enemies to be here at these stairs. So you don't have to really think much about anything, just simply make sure you are standing and you've seen this wall, and simply throw it. As you can see, it covers a lot of space every time, and it can push them off this spot, which is super annoying to play against. Of course, if you have other if you have other agents that can clear it, you can always throw it into the backside, for example like this, bounce off of this wall and clear in this backside right here. And you can also do lineup for this spot. Just go behind the mount right here, make sure there's this little gap, place your crosshair a little bit higher, for example right here, just aim directly above the spike, move forward while crouching and throw it. So it should look like this, and it would usually land on the spike perfectly, denying anyone to defuse. Then you can follow it up with spraying and trying to get a kill. Now let's move on to your wingman. I don't think on A he is that useful, but anyway, it's still a good thing to use him to send him to plant. You can always use him as a raze boomba to send him either under the side or anywhere in this area. Or you can use him even to clear the close left corners, maybe bouncing it off this wall, and then you can take it a bit later on. But simply using it for a plant should work fine for you. I mean on B it is even better to use, since as you can see you don't have to really peek it. You can create a simple path with your smokes, maybe place your 3 of your smokes, or if you have a viper simply use your wall, and you can place it in any of these spots, and it would be very difficult for enemies to break it, since he's pretty small and hard to hit. And if you combine it with flashes, the enemies could not even try to spray it usually, they would usually fall back and they would have to play for a retake. So using it on B works fantastic and you should definitely try it. The same thing works for C. As you can see, I can use my wingman all the way from here and send him to plant onto the side. So let's say if you use your maybe 2 smokes right here in these spots and send your wingman, you can pretty much plant anywhere. As you can see, it's super easy to use. I can send him, for example, and if you go with him, you clear this backside. It's pretty much a free plant, since it is super hard to break and enemies would have to usually play for a retake. And once again, you are set up perfectly, since as you can see the spike is planted for you, so that way you can also play from further back and you don't have to commit to sight even. When playing on defense, I like to keep my wingman for defuse, but if I know that some enemy is maybe, for example right here, don't be afraid to use your wingman to try to get a kill. If you don't have any util, you can always try to use this, since you will usually stun him and you can then try to go for a kill. Super easy to do. You can use this pretty much anywhere and there's not really much to it. You just simply wanna use it, and then if you wanna send out your wingman to defuse, you just wanna simply cover him from a safe spot, for example where the enemies would not really expect you. So if the enemy is planted, for example right here, simply send out your wingman and defuse him, and you can hold some off angle. It doesn't really matter if they kill him. If you still kill the enemy, it's more worth it than dying just simply if it were you on spike. So definitely use it and don't be afraid. And especially on C, I think it's super worth it here, since it is super annoying to defuse this corner. So using your wingman and then trying to get closer to enemies who would be usually aiming at a different spot is a not bad idea either. Now let's move on to your flashes, and let's start right here. So one of the ways how you want to use your flashes, there are two ways that I like to use. One of them is to simply bounce it off a wall, so that's why it comes back to you. So you can use it, for example, this pillar right here. Run forward, throw it, and as you can see, it bounces back. So that way it is easier for me to take. So it would look like this either, and you can throw it even further, so that way you wouldn't have to peek that much. Another way how I like to use my flashes is like this. You just simply aim directly above yourself and throw it. And as you can see, it's gonna blind anyone in this area. So those are the two ways how you shoot your flashes, since it always gives you the option to take the flash back. Of course, using your flash, for example like this, if you know that you are gonna commit to the side, is not a bad idea either. You can always take it back as well here, but it's much more riskier than if you use any of these techniques. So if you commit into the side, you can use this and go with it. So that's one of the ways that you can do it. It's quite difficult to do something like this on B. Of course, you can do it, for example, right here at this spot, so that way it bounces back and it would blind anyone in this corner. Then you can just simply take it. However, the further you go, there is not a way how to do it right here, so you just simply have to flash and have your teammates push with it. I would recommend you to flash a bit higher, since usually it's harder to dodge, and if the enemies would want to break it, they have to flick there, and it's much easier. Their crosshair placement would be messed up. On C, just simply use your flash like this, since as you can see, it will blind anyone in these spots. The closer you use it, the better, since as you can see, for example right here, this would blind anyone pretty much anywhere. So have that in mind and choose yours and pick your spots adequately to the things that you want to flash. So then you just simply capture it and you can continue with it. So in this case, it is pretty difficult for any position here to bounce it back. You can try to use this wall, which I don't think is that worth it. So on C, just simply go for it. You can try to position yourself a bit better, so that way you can maybe pick it here, which is a safer spot than if you were throwing on top of a site. So always when you are flashing, think of it as where it's gonna land, so if you are able to pick it up or not. And with the same approach, you want to be playing it on defense as well. So for example right here, you can aim directly above yourself and jump and throw it, and as you can see, it goes pretty high up and it can blind anyone at these areas. So it can give you at least some info, and once again, you're picking it up from a very safe position. Another way would be, for example, throw it at this wall. Run forward, jump, and bounce it back up. Gets you the info if there's anyone. However, this is the only disadvantage of this, it can get broken. So have that in mind if you are using these flashes. So now this is one of the ways. If you are taken, you can always, for example, do flash right here. If it sees them, it's gonna blind them. Just make sure you aim directly above yourselves, not like I did just right now. As I said, B is difficult to hold like that, so you can either play very aggressive to try to do your flashes like this, or even further back like that, or just simply try to use them for retaking different side, since using it right here is pretty difficult. Of course, you can try to peek with them like that, which is gonna be alright for you. And on C, there is one spot which is pretty good to use for flashing. You can use this to support your teammates. Just aim directly above yourself, jump and throw it. And as you can see, it goes super high up and it's gonna blind anyone who will be in main. So lastly, I will give you a little tip with your ult. So let's say that you're using your ult to trying to stun anyone, but you don't see anyone. So you can just simply go back and try to enter your ult in a relatively safe spot. So it is much better to enter your ult here than if you went into an undiscovered area and try to go there and end it there. Now you have the option of taking it back. You have only 2 shots of this, so you can use your first ult. Again, if there's somebody in these spots, if you don't stun, just simply go back and take it back. And then you have the second option for yourself. You just have one more try, I mean. And that way you have to use it to stun anyone, since the second ult, the use of it doesn't drop the ARP and you cannot use it anymore. So yeah, have that in mind when you are ulting. Definitely try to use it wisely and don't be too greedy for it, since it gets you a lot of info and it can get you a free kills if you use it correctly. So yeah, I hope this video is gonna be helpful for you guys. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe, and see you guys soon. Bye.